So now I'm recording. So should I say all over again? But this idea that we can move from our center outward and also from our extremities back home to our center. And if we're really working with the center of our body, this is not just about like engage your core, although it can be very much about engage your core and stabilize from your core for your movement potential. But it's really about kind of trying to work with this kinesthetic amnesia that we often can get, like where's my arm in space, or my shoulder's been hurting, so I'm just gonna kind of avoid it and like ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist because pain is here. And so I think when we're uncomfortable, we often just kind of can put that on the shelf a little bit, and we lose our capacity to really be full in our body. So moving from the center and back home is just another skillful means of trying to incorporate all of us, our energy body, our physical body, our breath body, into the experience of our practice. So we're going to work a little bit with that today. And I just want to mention, if you're having pain in your body, if anything's hurting, try to change the vector of movement. So sometimes it can be as simple as backing away from something, but it also could be, my shoulder hurts when I move this way, but it doesn't hurt when I move this way. So, like seeking different ranges that might serve you better. So be exploratory in your practice instead of rote, like now we're doing this pose, now we're doing this pose. See what it feels like to really try to make this practice fresh for this moment, for you and not for anybody else. And listen, there's a lot of, when you have more inquiry and the body shows you what's available in this moment right now, if you can listen to that and trust and follow that, you will be guided, self-guided into a lot of freedom in your body instead of pain and kind of working too hard or efforting too much. So there's a lot to this. There's a lot to this. So I just want you to experience it. We're going to do a lot of navel radiation today, kind of moving from the center outward and back home again. And we'll just see where we go. Okay. So once again, thanks for being accepting of the technological challenges as we've gotten here. So let's go ahead and sit up straight and tall. And just take a moment to offer some peace into yourself. So when our eyes close and we kind of drape the curtains over the outer world, what happens? Where do you go when you close your eyes? Can you allow yourself to create that generative sensation in the body where you're paying attention to the inner workings? How is your breath moving through you? We're going to do a little of this on our back in a little bit, but just notice, where does the breath easily move? Where do you feel like you're pushing the breath instead of opening gates and allowing? So there's a very big difference between opening doors and pushing yourself through a door. Just see where flow lives in you. Are your eyes soft? Is your jaw soft? Can you rest any parts of the body that are holding some tension? Is your posture in a way where you can feel spacious and free? Or do you feel like you're efforting a whole lot to hold yourself up? Is your belly moving when you breathe? Can you feel that deep center? So I can't remember what language it is, but one of the terms for the center, like Dantian and Hara, there's another called Nobu. And the translation means all can be seen from here. So imagine that your eyes, your brain, really is in the center of your body instead of up on the top of your head, where we tend to sense the world from our head, our ears, our nose, our tongue, our eyes. See if you can drop into that deeper sixth sense, deep inner sense, interoception, this inner sensing. And let the epicenter be like the brain of a starfish, that is the core of your body expanding outward. How has your breath changed when you make that adjustment to visualizing your brain in your center? All right, let's place the palms at your heart. And just take a moment to offer an intention. How can kind of creating that deeper somatic awareness coming into the flow of your being, how can that support you with what you need today? So offer that grace, intention for yourself. And let's go ahead and release the hands and come onto your back. Okay, so I'm going to sense just a little bit of shifting here. So as you come onto your back and lie down, let me just turn my volume up. Okay. As you come to lie down on your back, notice, take your arms and legs a little wider than you might ordinarily do. Imagine it's a sunny spring day and you're laying on the grass. You just gone for a long walk or whatever. And you want to rest on the earth. So what does it feel like to take up some space and not feel like you have to be right up against your torso with your arms? Your legs don't need to be together. There's lots of room. So take up space. And then just take a moment to drop the bones like we're moving into Shavasana. So we'll start in Shavasana and we'll circle back to it at the end of class. Can you give yourself over to the earth? So if you did happen to be in class Friday, and Steve reminded me that I recorded it and it's up in the library on my website. So if you're interested in yielding, go ahead and take the class from last Friday. But just see if you can yield into the earth. What does it feel like to truly drop yourself down? When you breathe, can you get the sense that your inhales you are receiving them? That where are you receiving them from? Can you feel as though the air is not just coming from your nostrils, but that you're really touching into the energy body, feeling the flow of energy move through you? And then as you exhale, can you melt into the earth and give that energy to the earth? So this is just a little bit of that concept of yielding, that we receive and we give. And the breath is magic in so many ways. This is just yet another way the breath could be very therapeutic. And start to focus on the breathing and the belly in particular. So come back to your starfish brain. And the diaphragm, of course, is your prime mover, but see if you can just notice the deeper lower center in the body. You don't have to originate the breath from your navel center, but just imagine that you are energetically originating from that place. And this is different for everybody. Some people feel it higher in their belly, some people feel it lower, some people feel it more superficial or deep. So just sense where your center is. And imagine that you can radiate out from there, that you can stretch. We're going to move in a moment, but just imagine the energy stretch first before the physical stretch, that we expand from that center out to our edges on our in-breath, and from the edges back to our center on our out-breath. Try to, bear with me if you're like, oh, I just want to move. We will. I promise we will. So just see what it feels like to be a little slower in the beginning here. You're just connecting in with that deeper, intuitive, energetic space that's really quite a different sensation than muscles and bones. And it also includes muscles and bones. See if you can kind of slip into the stream. And we're going to start moving a little bit now. So navel to your edges and take a stretch. And maybe you want to squeeze. So squeeze everything you got. So take a deep breath, hold your in-breath, squeeze every muscle you can find to squeeze as you stretch. And then release that. We're going to do that with breath twice more. Take a deep breath in, extend from navel to edges, squeeze, 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 and then relax. Let's do it one more time. Expand from navel to your toes, your hands, your crown, and your tail. Squeeze, 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 and then relax. And bring your knees into your chest and give yourself a hug and rock around a little bit. So movement, let your spine free up, your fascia free up just by some rocking side to side. All right, then we're going to, without doing the squeeze, we're just going to find that navel radiation. So expand gently. See how your navel takes you to your arms and legs. And then exhale, pick up your head and see how much your edges can take back home to center. So as you move back and forth between the expansion and the contraction, see if you can really follow the pathway. Is there any breaks in the chain? So when you go from your navel to your edges, do you find it? Or is it kind of absent somewhere in the middle? Now when you squeeze in, take a breath here. And as you exhale, squeeze, push all your air out and squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then release it. Put your head down, keep your knees in. We're gonna do that twice more. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, pick your head up, squeeze, even your face, squeeze your toes, your core. And then inhale, lift your head back to the floor one last time. Exhale and squeeze in, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And then release your legs onto the floor. Again, back onto your grassy field, light, nice and wide. So we're almost ready to get up and really start moving. But first, I just want you to get that sense of connecting the navel to the limbs. So start with your right leg. See if you can stretch your energy and maybe your physicality from your navel to your right foot. And notice, even as you start to physically move and stretch a little bit, where are you connected and where do you lose that connection? Can you follow the chain? Is there a link missing in the chain from your navel to your right foot? And then hug that foot back in. Same, is it easier to follow the chain when you're drawing back into the center? Or is it easier to follow the chain when you're moving away from the center? So just experiment navel to right foot. It's not always the case, but often we breathe in to expand and we breathe out to contract. This is the natural tendency of our diaphragm, our core muscles. So let's let the body follow this. There are certainly times when you might change that, but for today, let's try to cultivate that pattern. Try the left leg. Navel, take a deep breath, stretch out to the left foot, find the missing links in the chain, bring your awareness, your kinesthetic awareness, exhale to draw the foot back into the navel center. And notice what's easier for you. Some people have a much easier time expanding out and feeling sensation in expansion. Some people have a much easier time with it in contraction. So just notice where your somatic awareness really is. All right, and then we're going to move from your navel to your crown and your tail simultaneously. So can you feel the inhale, stretch? This is much easier to feel on our bellies, but for now we'll just stay on our backs. One more time, feeling the inhale, stretch from your crown to your tail. And then exhale to come back home toward the navel center. So you really have 6 tips of your body: your hands, your feet, your crown, and your tail. All right, and then the next time you're ready to pass an energy chain, go from navel to right hand. So see what happens when you find movement originating from the belly all the way out to the right fingers. And then back home again. And just pay attention to where you feel flow and also where you don't. So I'd be surprised if anybody didn't have any missing links. I definitely have some missing links that I work with. So just notice as you move from your navel to your right hand and back home on the exhale, where the connection feels solid and where maybe, you know, your wires are a little loose and you need to do some better connecting. Okay, so now let's move to the left side, navel to your left hand. And back home again. And you may notice, maybe not, but you may notice that you have more kinesthetic awareness in your dominant side. You know, if you are right-handed, you may feel that this side, the left side, is a little harder or just different to feel. All right, now we're going to come back and we're going to move into all 6 limbs. So take a deep breath. See if you can not just mindlessly stretch your arms and legs out of their hip and shoulder sockets, but from the center, all the way from the center. Feel that connection. And then exhale. You don't have to bring your knees in, but just come back home. Now try left leg and right arm. See if you can feel the navel. Connect the left leg and right arm. Back home again on the exhale. Switch sides. Right leg, left arm from the center. Is it easier to go into your leg or your arm? Is this cross-lateral pattern more aware than the other? Try the other side again, right arm, left leg. And just notice, you know, which of your habituated cross-lateral patterns do you have more access to? Left arm, right leg. All right, and then come back. All right, so thank you for bearing with me for unusual movement patterns. I hope you can kind of get into it a little bit. All right, let's bring our knees into the chest and give yourself a little bit of rocking. All right, let's move the hips. So pull your knees apart and back in. Feel free to move your ankles and toes around while you're moving your hips around. Kind of wake things up. You feel free to move your knees in opposition so they don't have to go in the same circles. And then let's roll over onto our side and come up onto your hands and your knees. All right, so let's start moving some cat-cows and see if you can keep with this theme of opening from your navel out to your edges and then back home again. Rounding the spine, drawing into the center. As you inhale, stretching the crown and tail away from each other in the front body anyway. And then exhale, navel in. See what the exhale does to hold you back into the center of your body. One more time, arching the back, spine gets longer. Exhale to round the spine. Feel the space in the back body. And feel free to move things around so you can swirl through your pelvis or move from side to side. Any kind of pattern that you want. Just finding that sense of what's here. You know, you can let go of having to do everything from your center. Just explore. What are you feeling? Open up the awareness in your body. And then as you're ready, stretch back towards child's pose. And we're just going to lift up here. So inhale up onto your shins. Open up your spine, lift from the heart, and then exhale and come back in. And just see if you can let this be about expanding from the center, opening yourself up. What vector of movement do your arms want? In the front, on the sides. Exhale to draw yourself back home into the center of the body. So just imagine you're a starfish again, opening yourself up, expanding outward. Exhale to soften yourself back home inside. Okay, one last time. Make sure you're breathing. Exhale and release. Take your arms out in front of you if it's comfortable for your shoulders. And let's take a breath and walk the hands over to the left side of your mat. Open up, and if one shoulder doesn't like doing this, try backing away until, remember, pain usually is trying to tell us something. So try to work before pain. And this, you have to know what that means for you. So discomfort is different than like a warning shot in the body. So just try to notice what your sensations are telling you. And the best way is to listen. The more we listen and respond to the body's sensations, the less prone we are to injury. Let's walk over to the other side. Usually, you know, injury happens in yoga when we push our musculoskeletal system beyond where our inner body can support. So let us get a little more cued into this inner sensing. Find the breath. All right, then come back to center. Come up onto all fours. Lift the right arm up in the air. Exhale and slide that shoulder down. Come to a twist. Broaden the shoulder blades. Relax the head. Where can you find some ease despite the, you know, a little bit of work that's here? Is there a balance between a little push and a little pull? And then inhale and lift that arm back up. Place the hand down onto the ground and change sides. Lift the left arm, slide that arm through, soften your shoulder, gaze toward the floor, press your hand into the ground to deepen the pose if you want. Remember, where is the breath coming from? Can you feel the navel center, even here as we're all twisted up? Can you feel that sense of expansion through your spine? And then inhale and lift that arm all the way back up in the air. Place the hand down onto the ground. Let's find dog pose. All right, so yeah, look, we're up off the flat floor. I told you we'd get here. All right, so just feel what it feels like to maybe pedal the feet or sway a hip. Just kind of walk into the body in a new way. So we're opening the new things up. See what that feels like. Find that sense of space, awareness. And then once you get settled, you know, once you feel your feet, feel your hands, and get used to the sensation of stretching your body in this way, what would it feel like to stretch from your navel out to your edges on your inhales? Do you feel that sense of yielding to the floor? How do your exhales come back home to the center of the body? Can you imagine that you're giving yourself, on your inhales, you're giving yourself to the earth? Maybe you feel it better on your exhales. So yielding does not have to be in synchronicity to navel radiation. Just see what is feeling good in your body. Are you giving yourself to the floor? Are your joints, especially your knees and your elbows, soft enough to give into the floor and receive from the floor? And let's walk forward, come into Uttanasana. Feel free to wag your tail around, bobble your head around, anything that feels good in your body. Bend your knees a lot or a little, just depending on what it is that your body needs right now. Relax your head, soften. Inhale for a halfway lift. You can hold the tops of your thighs, knees stay soft, expand the heart. Exhale and melt back down. So here we go again, finding that sense of expansion as we breathe in, expand the body, expand the crown and the tail. Exhale and find yourself coming back home to the center. This time we're going to expand all the way up to stand. Reach the arms, maybe a different vector of movement with the arms is necessary. And then relax and bring your arms down your sides. So we're just going to do a little pendiculations, which just means some flex and extend and flex and extend. So open the cactus arms and then close the cactus arms. And you can curl in like this, or you can just keep it be about the upper body where the knees stay not locked, but neutral. Okay, so a few times. Feel the breath open you. Feel the exhale contract you. Deep breath. All right, now we're going to try some little twisting here. Inhale, come to this side, back. We're going to go a couple times each side. Inhale, and then exhale. Go to the second side. Inhale as you twist. Exhale to come back around. All right, now we'll go once each side. Inhale, Exhale. All right, arms up. Bend your knees. Halfway lift. Spine gets longer. Exhale and melt. See if all this expansion and contraction can come from the navel center. Let's take our right foot back. Okay, our left foot's forward. Feel free to go grab some blocks. If you want some blocks, we're coming into a lunge. Feel the sense of expansion through your heart and see what it feels like to draw into the center on your exhales. This is in part why I like to inhale to bend my knee and come forward, and to exhale to square my hips and drop my head. But if your breath feels natural the other way, follow what's natural in your body. So everybody's different. You're different today than you were yesterday. So see what it feels like to come into this moment, to trust and follow what you're finding here instead of what you wish you were finding or what you did find yesterday, or just have it. So try to, even though we're doing similar things, you know, the poses keep coming home to our view, can we still have a freshness, a new awareness of what it feels like right here and right now? All right, walk your back foot forward. Inhale for a halfway lift. Hands can go on thighs or shins or blocks. Melt, fold in. Let's second side. Okay, so now our right foot forward, left foot back. Stretch and lengthen. Okay, and let's just start moving here. Expand your heart. Try not to shrink. Are you moving with breath? Can you draw yourself in on your exhales? Can you expand yourself out on your inhales? All right, come back to a lunge. Place 2 hands onto the ground and come to a plank. All right, so now we have some core needs. All right, so just see what it feels like. You can't spread out the breath as much as you did when we were on the floor. There's a little bit more engagement that's required. So see what it feels like to inhale to stretch the crown and tail. Exhale, recommit to hugging back to your navel center. All right, and then we're gonna put our knees down. Come down to the floor carefully, safely for your shoulders. Inhale, rising up, cobra pose. Exhale, melt back down. The back of the head stays long. Inhale, stretch from your belly to your crown and tail. Exhale, and release. Put your hands underneath your forehead for a moment. Wag your tail, just get your loose on, you know, just get your spine to free up. And then spend a moment here. You can turn your head to the side, or you can have your hands on your forehead on your hands, whatever feels good. But I just want you to imagine that your breath is moving down the spine. It's not even an imagination, it's actually happening, so feel it. Can you imagine that your spine is like driftwood or a little boat bobbling on the sea of your breath, the moving sea of your breath? Now imagine that the navel radiation lives in the back of your body too. Can you feel how the edges of your spine move away from your navel center as you inhale? And that they relax and recoil back toward your navel center as you exhale. So just feel the natural rhythms of the body, of the breath. Bring your arms and legs on the floor. So now we're like we were before, but we're on our bellies. We're going to be active here instead of just laying on our grassy field. But just for a moment, radiate the breath from your back low center to your arms, your legs, your crown, your tail. Just experiment with where your chains are here, your kinesthetic chains. Are there any missing links? Is it easier for you being on your belly than on your back? And we're going to bring our legs a little closer, so you can have them hip width apart, a teeny bit wider, whatever feels good to you. Same with the arms, experiment with where you want them. We're going to inhale the right leg and the left arm, thumb up toward the sky, so there's some external rotation. So feel that, and then release and come back. Second side, I don't care where you're breathing. Are you inhaling or exhaling? Doesn't matter, just find the action of seeing what that contraction feels like into the center back, low back, and the freedom to release from that. So just keep going back and forth. Stabilize through the core of your body. This is not just about the back of you, this is also about the front of you. So before you do another side, let's all just take a moment to engage. Pubic bone lifting toward belly button. Feel that deep transverse abdominis kick in a little bit and try again. So try not to go anywhere with that hug happening in the front of the body. Notice if it's a little different. Are you less able to go high? That's okay. Better to be stable and less mobile than hypermobile and not stable. Are you breathing? One last time. Make sure you finish on the side that you didn't end on. So whatever that's for you. All right, and then let's go ahead and come on up onto your hands and your knees. Sway from side to side, be like a fish, like your vertebrae swishes sideways instead of front back. All right, and then let's lift up to dog pose. Okay, so stretch up through your spine. Feel that sense of spaciousness. Feel free to bend your elbows, bend your knees a little bit. Find that hugging into the center. Maybe you want to vacillate back and forth a little bit between giving to the earth and receiving, between expanding from your navel outward and coming back home again. So what does the starfish feel like now when we're here instead of on the floor? Where are you finding your kinesthetic chains? Where are there still missing links? Okay, let's go ahead and lift the right leg straight up in the air. Find your chains, lengthen, expand on your inhale. As you exhale, knee to nose. Hug into the deep center. One more time, let's do that. Reach that leg up. Exhale, knee to nose. One more time. This time we get to bring our foot forward, so come into a lunge. Before coming up into crescent lunge, just see what it feels like to stabilize your deep center. Can you expand crown and tail all the way to the back heel on your inhale? Can you come home? Can you feel your legs hug into your belly on your exhales? Find that sense of stability and rise up. So just play in the dance of yielding, of expanding, of contracting. Okay, so feel your starfish, spreading yourself from your center outward without pushing. So what might it feel like to feel that your shoulders are connected to your belly, that your hands are connected to your belly, that we're not just pulling up from the shoulder joint, but that we're reaching from the center of the body to the hands? Do you go less far, but does it feel more free? Is your breath there? Your breath is usually your place to find your kinetic chains. If you go somewhere without your breath, there's, broken links. So keep finding the breath. And then release the hands down to the ground. Step back to dog pose again. Finding your breath. Feel free to move your feet around. Give yourself over to the earth. Receive from the earth. So instead of pushing the floor away, so push, push. See what it feels like to push, yield, to yield into the earth and then push off of the earth. How does this correspond with navel radiation? Can you feel the yielding and the radiation? All right, let's lift that left leg straight up in the air. Hips are square. And as you exhale, knee to your nose, hug it on in. Reaching that leg back. Exhale, shoulders over wrist. Engage your core. Reach that leg back. This time we get to plant your foot forward, come into a lunge. So just so that your feet are happy. You know, maybe you need to take the left foot out to the left more for more stability. Maybe the vector of movement for you is hands on your hips or arms out here somewhere instead of up in the air. So if you feel like you lose the center of your starfish, if your brain starts to creep up into your head instead of your belly, if you feel loss of connection from your edge, your center to your edges, change something until you can find it again. Yield into the earth, give to the earth, find that push off, follow the breath. If your arms are out or up, what does it feel like to connect them to your core instead of yanking at your joints? How does this impact your neck? So when you're in this posture and you find the expansion of your spine, can you feel some softness through your neck? Can you connect your belly to the base of your skull? All right, let's go ahead and place your hands down. Take your front foot back. Put your knees down for a moment. We're going to come into a forearm plank. So obviously, if we're trying to work from our navel center, we need to know what the navel strength feels like. So forearm planks are great. If you want, you can take a block between your hands. If when your hands are down like this, or you feel the urge to bring your hands together, this often internally rotates us, and we dominate the strength in our chest instead of working with the back as well. So a block sometimes can help you stay a little bit more neutral in both the front and back. But even if you're not using a block, try to avoid this, you know, where we bring our hands together, because often, so everybody try to bring your hands together. Probably you're going to want to drop your head and pull your chest up toward the sky. So now take your hands apart, palms down or palms turned toward each other, and reach your heart forward. Broaden your collarbones. Stabilize through your center. Shoulder blades are down the back, and feel the muscles in the back of your shoulders working as hard as your chest. What does your core feel like? You can always put your knees down. Knees down is such a great option. Can you feel that sense of your exhales giving you strength? All right, and let's everybody put your knees down. Come onto your belly, pick up your feet, and just bobble left and right. All right, let's go ahead and come onto your back before we go back up. We're going to come into some bridges, but we're going to move while we're here, so it's a little different. So as you lift your pelvis up, don't feel like you have to go into your biggest, highest posture. Just be somewhat comfortable. And I want you to just turn your pelvis to the left, back to neutral, turn your pelvis to the right. So you're like waving over here and then waving over there. Like your hip bones have eyes that want to look this way and then want to look the other way. So just notice what's happening in your core. Don't go very far in this movement. All right, let's come on down. So hopefully that woke up a little bit of your obliques, a little bit of your transverse abdominis. Take a breath, put your hands onto your belly. Okay, so your finger pads are, find your hip bones, the bony parts, your ASIS, right? And then slide toward the middle, okay? And just place your finger pads there. So hopefully you don't have a full bladder. It'll, you know, you're kind of near your bladder. All right, so take a deep breath and engage all the muscles underneath your fingers. See what it feels like to shrink wrap, like a shrinky dink that you decorated, that you colored, and you put in the oven and it shrinks. Okay, so your exhales are the oven. The inhale, expand. Exhale, cook your shrinky dink. Down to the deep center you go. Don't forget to loosen on the inhales. Maybe your pelvic floor is getting involved in this too. Everything expands and releases on inhale and contracts and engages on exhale. If we hold our pelvic floor or our deep core all the time, it gets weaker. It's the movement, the pandiculation that really helps us to gain awareness, strength, and the capacity to use that strength appropriately. Okay, now we're gonna notice the difference between those deep muscles. So keep the hands where they were. Take a deep breath, engage, feel what feels underneath you, and now pick up your head. And another muscle will engage right on top. So put that one down, relax that, and let's do that twofold thing again. Take a deep breath in, exhale, engage your deeper muscles, and then pick up your head for your superficial ones. Head down, take a deep breath in. One last time, shrinking. Pick up the head, release the head, breathe in, and relax. Okay, pick up your knees, put your arms in a comfortable place. Now we're gonna see if we can maintain all that as we drop a heel down. So now our psoas muscle is engaged too, not just the transverse abdominis, which is, kind of like the shrink wrap muscle. Your psoas is your hip flexors. So obviously we're flexing our hips now and extending. So just tapping, one heel down, and then that knee back up, balance the knees, and then switch. Are you breathing? Can you feel your shrinky dink as well as your hip flexors? And so you have this muscle, your transverse abdominis, that wraps around your organs and holds your organs in. It's your corset muscle, kind of wraps around you and protects your spine. Airbags your muscle, your organs to your spine so that your organs become support for the spine. All right, let's go ahead and bring both knees into the chest, rock around, and just notice, that psoas work. Sometimes if you're not super stable, your back can feel it. So just notice where you are. Put your feet down. We're going to do one more bridge, but we're going to go uber slow on the way up and down. Okay, so inhale, feet are flat, neutral. Feel the 4 points of your feet. Slowly rise up. Can you feel your core? Especially on your exhales, can you feel your core? And now even more on the exhales. See what it feels like to slow things down. Evenness through your pelvis, trying to drop the two sides at the same time. Keep breathing, even though we're going super slow. All right, once you get down to the ground, let's roll over and we're gonna come back into a plank. All right, so now see what it feels like to expand away from your shrinky dink. And then bring it back in. Feel the full wrap around your torso, like a corset on your exhales. Expand to your crown and tail, navel radiation outward. Exhale, find that hugging back to the center. Hug your arms into the center. Hug your feet into the center. Hug your crown and tail into the center. And then expand outward again. Expand into the hands, expand into the feet, expand into the crown and the tail. And then back to dog pose when you're ready. Take a deep breath here. Expand the spine. Breathe fully. Let's inhale and lift the right leg up in the air. Stretch through your spine. And we're going to bring that right foot forward, coming into a lunge. Rise up, crescent lunge again. See if your core is just a little bit more aware. Can you zip from your pubic bone to your belly button? And when you do this, can you find it on your exhales? Can you let it go a little bit so you can stretch from your navel to your arms and feet on your inhales? What does it feel to try to compact yourself on your exhales, to expand yourself on the inhales. We're going to turn and open up to the side. So your right foot is out, left foot is back. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, come into warrior two, your Virasana two. All right, so once again, arms can be wherever you want them to be. Sometimes just making an adjustment with your arms can be just what you need to find your breath again, to find that sense of expansion. So what does it feel like now to expand your center out to your limbs? Arms, feet, crown, tail. Do you have that sense of expansion on inhales and a hugging back in on the exhales? So even though we're using some muscular energy, try not to let your muscularity overwhelm your energy body. So come back to your grassy field. Okay, let's lift the arm up in the air, take a breath, straighten your leg, and find your way into triangle pose. Blocks are nice. You can also keep your hand on your leg, be very light. If you have furniture, you can keep your hand on your couch or your chair or your table. Take a deep breath and find triangle pose. What a beautiful place to expand into your starfish. Crown and tail, there's so much room here. So just see, and if you don't feel like you have so much room, climb up until you have more room, until you have that sense of expansion. Are you yielding your feet into the earth? Are you having the sense of give and take? Can you expand from your navel center to all your limbs? Is there a sense of hugging back in? And then come on up, bend your knee, place your elbow on your knee, stretch your arm overhead. Perhaps your hand doesn't want to do that. Maybe your arm wants to be in a different place. What's giving you that sense of connecting from your center to your edges? Try not to override the energy body with the muscle body. So our will often translates into our muscles really well. What would it feel like to have your will translate into your energy body, to your will to understand and sense this connection from your center outward and back home again? All right, come on up. Turn back to the front of your mat. Dog pose. Give yourself an opportunity to yield, to give yourself over, to feel the rebound through your body. What does your starfish feel like now? Loose joints assist energy flow. Locked joints, locked breath, block energy flow. So make sure you're mobile, yet supported. Make sure you're breathing. Okay, let's go ahead and come forward into a plank again. See what it feels like here. Expand outward, contract inward. All right, we're going to put our knees down if you need to. Come onto your belly. Now we're going to starfish everything. So instead of left, right hemisphere work, we're going to do it all. So take a deep breath in. Arms can be wide. I don't have room, but you can have your arms down at your sides. You can have your arms up, out. Legs can be close, legs can be far. Decide. Breathe here. Feel your diaphragm get a little push up. Expand to your edges. Melt back home. Core and glutes, core and back body, all working together. All right, and then melt. Pick up your feet, rock left and right. Finding your breath. Okay, let's push back up onto all fours, back to dog pose. You go. Full breaths here. Let's lift the left leg up in the air. And then as you're ready, bring that foot forward. Come into crescent lunge. Find the expansion. Maybe your arms go up, maybe they don't. And then we're going to come to the side of our mat for our standing poses. All right, so find your sense. Where do you want your arms to be? Where are you in space? Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Try not to, lift so our starfish doesn't really look like this, right? If we're really connecting from our center out to our limbs, we don't have to hold our arms up from puppet strings from above. They're supported from the center outward. Reach into the hands and the feet. Come back home again on your exhales. Don't forget you have 6 limbs: hands, feet, crown, and tail. Okay, we're going to slide into a reverse. Reach that arm up, and then find the straight leg. Blocks are nice if you want them or have them. Okay, come up. You can always put your hand on your leg. Be light, okay, so you don't have to push onto your hand and hyperextend your knee. Arm can be up, arm can be down, shoulders away from the ears. What does it feel like to expand here? Feel the crown and tail move away from each other. Feel the hands and feet expand away from your center. Find the chains. Okay, so once again, scan the inner body. Stretch from your navel to your edges and try not to lose links along the way. And if you're noticing, if you're paying attention and you have some consistent missing links, that's really good information. It's just good knowledge. Like, oh, I have a little kinesthetic amnesia in that part of my body, so I just need to go there a little bit more frequently. So it's great information for us to learn to listen to what the body's offering. Okay, come on up. Parasvottanasana. Put your elbow on your knee. Shoulder wants to creep up, so slide it down. Other arm can come up, can be out here in the air, can be on your hip. Where do you want to be in space? Find your feet. Yield into the earth. Give yourself to the earth. Push off the earth. Feel the length of the crown and the tail. Deepening your breath. All right, let's go ahead and come out. Last time to move through a vinyasa. Let's come to plank pose. Feel that one more time. Your core strength on your exhales. Expansive on your inhales. Can you hug your hands and feet into your core? Can you expand away from your core? Put your knees down, come down. Any back bend that you feel like doing. So choice here, any choice you want. Exhale and soften back. Push back to child's pose. Have your knees close or far. Rock around a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and come over onto your back. I've kept you guys a little bit longer because we started so late, so I apologize for that. It's a couple minutes after 9, and we haven't even done Shavasana yet, so I just want you to be mindful if there's something you need to run off to. I apologize for the tech snafus that are making us a little late. All right, so you get to choose any pose you want to choose before Shavasana. Maybe your hips need a little stretch and you can come into a reverse pigeon pose. Maybe you want a little bit of a twist, and twist is a really fun place to practice this sense of navel radiation because it's a little more complicated being contorted in the center of the body. So just play for a couple of moments of finding what you need in your body. So if you need to stretch your hips or your spine or anything else. Whatever you're doing, make sure you do both sides of it if it's a two-sided thing. Are you still working with the breath? All right, so as you're ready to come into Shavasana, and there's no rush, If your body's still needing some things, take the time to give your body what it needs. And then as you're ready, let's go back to our grassy fields. Okay, so this earthing concept of giving yourself over, this ionic exchange that we have, even though I'm sure most of you are, if not all of you, are inside at the moment, we still, the earth is just right here always. It's just a few layers away. So just notice what it feels like to give yourself over. Give yourself so much room to breathe, to expand. Can you feel your breath being the center of your navel radiation? Can you feel the breath be the center of your yielding? Keep softening the eyes, relaxing your jaw, taking your time. Let's begin to deepen our breathing again. And one more time, imagine yourself melting into the earth, giving yourself over, feeling that connection. Expand from your center to your edges in a very kind, gentle way. Feel yourself come back home as you exhale, dropping into the deep center of your body. Let's begin to create some movement. Can wiggle your toes or roll your head from side to side, whatever feels good. Let's find our way onto your side and up to sit when you're ready. Let's just take a moment. Bring your hands to your heart. Now when you expand your energy from your center outward, go beyond your physical body, expand, offering your energy. Let it be like bird wings that can travel far and wide. Open your heart. Just offer your energy outward to another or many, whatever it is that's in your heart today. Namaste. Blessings on the day. Let me unmute you so you can hear each other.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you. I'm so sorry about the tech issues. I will investigate. That's the only thing I could think of.
Is go get you an ice cream or something.
Thank you for having your phone available so that we could be in touch.
Yeah.
So I'm taking a nice walk later.
For those of you who had trouble, can you just stay on for a minute? And then Cindy, I see you. If you could stay on because you didn't have trouble. I just want to hear, hold on, my glasses. I want to hear exactly what